Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 10 Count podcast. I am Kyle Crosby alongside my broadcast partner, Michael Malley, aka Maggle, and we're just going to jump right into it again. The Royal Rumble was this past Sunday, and I'll tell you what, Michael, I was thoroughly disappointed by the number 30 entrant being Roman Reigns.
I could list you a list of things that I was critically disappointed with that Rumble match, especially since you and I have always thought that was our favorite match. That's always been our favorite match of the year. And we had some ideas of who some surprise entrants were going to be.
Well, it didn't come out to fruition, any of the surprise entrants that we had thought of.
No.
But it was good seeing Ty Dillinger show off his skill set. It was really good seeing the crowd react to it. That being said, the big three, Lesnar, Goldberg, Taker, were reserved for the end, likely because they're going to be gassed up. You know, they can't really go as long as they used to. But I don't mean to segue from the topic, but damn, John Cena and AJ Styles. What a match. Great. It stole the show.
Incredible performance, just the way they sold them. I'm still a little critical about how WWE uses their finishers, because in the old days, finisher was finisher, but they did it they did this match and they performed in a way that it was like storytelling. And this match it screams main event, just screams just match of the year quality altogether.
Yeah. It was great, but seeing John Cena tie Ric Flair's record really struck me, because I am a huge Ric Flair fan. Woo! I agree that if anybody does deserve to do it, it is John Cena. However, I am not thrilled at all that pencil in right now would be John Cena versus Randy Orton.
Fucking bullshit!
For the 190 millionth time or whatever they've faced, and it's just not interesting anymore. Now, Randy will probably face someone else other than John Cena. I'm hoping it's Bray Wyatt once he wins the Elimination Chamber. I mean, you have SmackDown's premier talent and The Miz in this match. I can't wait. It's gonna be great.
I think that locking AJ out of the title picture is a big mistake. I think that you were talking about Bray versus Randy for WrestleMania. I thoroughly believe it's going to be Cena versus AJ versus Randy Orton. I still have that idea in my head.
I mean, that would add some flair to the match. Woo! No pun intended. But AJ Styles should do a dream match. I think he should fight someone who we haven't seen him. I love AJ in the title picture, don't get me wrong. I mean, that'd be a great match to see. But you still have Cena and Orton in there, and it's just not entertaining anymore.
You're not going to escape Orton. Orton won the Rumble, so I'm
talking about Cena versus Orton in some kind of way in there. Like that tag match on SmackDown, it was awful when it was Orton and Cena in the ring. It was just shades of all the other times they fought. They're not going to fight now, but it could see it at WrestleMania. I don't care to see it at WrestleMania, because I could just go back 30,000 other times and see it then.
What?
Moving on, though, the debut of Samoa Joe destroying Seth Rollins.
My God, I'm literally blowing up with just how excited I am for Joe. When he came out, I marked out. I went nuts. Because at the Rumble, he was my pick. I mean, you remember when we were watching it, I had my Joe shirt on, my submission specialist SoCal shirt on. I was pumped. I thought he was going to be number 30, or I thought he was at least going to be in it. And when he didn't come out, I was so bitterly disappointed.
Yeah, I saw that.
And just him coming on Raw and being the guy for Triple H and taking out Rollins with the Cochina clutch was that made my night.
Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you think Brock Lesnar's momentum is shot because of how Goldberg basically humiliated him in every way they've interacted thus far?
I thoroughly do. You have a guy who not only lost in 2004, lost again this year, or last year rather, and then you have him thrown out in record time with Goldberg. And now there's this possibility of having a match, or no, he is having a match with Goldberg at WrestleMania. It seems like the only way for Lesnar to recover is to win this. But based on his momentum, based on with everything we've seen, it doesn't look like Brock Lesnar can legitimately destroy Goldberg.
He can't. He tried all these other times and he failed. And now you want to have another match at WrestleMania? Why? You could break it up. You can have other people go against a beast incarnate. You could have other people go against Goldberg. It's the same thing with Orton and Cena. It's exhausted.
The problem with this product that they're putting out right now is that they're recreating this idea that Goldberg is invincible, and I get it and I understand it, but you can't destroy another product that legitimately is the beast to do that, because then you take away from another superstar that you've already created and basically just shrivel up to pieces and just throw it out the window.
I completely agree with you. And if you want to completely destroy Lesnar's beast incarnate persona, do it with Big Cass beating him. Do it with Rusev beating him. Do it with someone who can use the leverage of dethroning the beast, being the beast slayer, the one who beat Goldberg. Somebody like that. Not Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. You take these stars.
And we're talking about big guys. We're talking about guys that could match up to people like Goldberg and people like Lesnar. One person who we've been watching for a while now, and his momentum has been picking up, is Braun Strowman.
Yes.
We're talking about how legitimately forceful, but even more than that, his promos are killer. His character work is killer. The problem right now, and I don't know if you see this too, is Roman Reigns.
Of course, that's been the problem for years. The past 3, at least, years has been Roman Reigns.
Do you feel like this new rivalry with Roman Reigns is going to hurt Strowman's future?
He might do the Rusev route and just get completely brushed under the rug after a Roman, but I don't think Roman is as big as Cena. So regardless if Strowman wins or loses in this feud, people will still view him in higher regards than Roman Reigns because they just don't like him. The guy doesn't sell, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. Now, regardless of how Braun would do, I think that it would not stop his momentum.
And that's one of my biggest fears, is that I have a big love for Kane and I like Big Show. My biggest fear with Strowman is that they're going to do the same treatment where they spent all this time making this character that was indestructible, this monstrous figure. And then a few years later, they decide to keep it going, but it doesn't have the same momentum it did before, and it just starts falling. And we saw Kane go from being the monster, the guy that took off his mask and we're all frightened and just destroyed everything, to being corporate Kane. And I'm always worried that Strowman's going to follow that same lead.
Yeah, I don't think that he will. Once he gets a little less green, he's getting better and better.
Right.
And we're watching it live, him getting better and better, and it's great. I'm a huge Braun Strowman fan. One person you are not a fan of, though, is Dean Ambrose.
What?
What do you think about Dean being in this Elimination Chamber?
I think with the level of talent that SmackDown has, I think it makes sense that he is. That being said, my problem wasn't initially until I watched the podcast with Steve Austin.
What?
Dean is a character that's built on being a lunatic. It's built on being crazy, unhinged, Brian Pillman-esque, Austin-esque.
What?
I feel like since his move to SmackDown, since that interview, he doesn't care. I feel like the energy level has just gone so downhill that I think people are starting to lose faith in him. That's why I feel like that's why he dropped the title. We were watching SmackDown Tuesday night, and he didn't only lose to AJ, then he got hit with the finisher by Miz, then Baron Corbin hit him with his finisher, and so I think Dean is on this route that we've seen with people like Zack Ryder, that we've seen that they go from this big, hyped up energy to being a jobber.
I never was a fan of Zack Ryder. It just wasn't entertaining for me. But I get where you're coming from. That brings us to our segment, Superstar of the Week.
Oh yeah!
From Raw, and Superstar of the Week.
Oh yeah!
From SmackDown. Who do you got? Raw, Michael.
Raw, I got Zayn.
I'm going to go with Samoa Joe. I love it. I love it. I love it. He came back and dominated Seth Rollins. And he's Triple H's new guy. I love Samoa Joe. SmackDown. Who you got, Maggle?
SmackDown, I have AJ Styles.
Why?
AJ Styles because he picked up a great victory with Dean, and he showed off his skill. And he didn't need to hit a finisher. He didn't need to sit ringside. He did it by pure action alone. And having that match at the Royal Rumble helped my feeling of him being the Superstar of the Week even more.
That's great. SmackDown, for me, I would have to say Baron Corbin. I like the Lone Wolf character. I think he's just a bully, and it's great. Well, that just about wraps it up here for the 10 Count podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe here on Channel D Productions, and join us next week for another episode of the 10 Count podcast.
Hit that bell, Kyle.